and welcome to the WhipChat Podcast, LAWhipCon 2022 edition. I want to welcome everyone that's watching and listening, as well as my two guests, Kat Fimple and Justin Bereczki. We are going to, there we go, change the video around so we can see everyone. But we're going to chat about the winners and all the contestants that were, or many of the contestants that were announced and showed off their videos and some just amazing whip cracking, not wick cracking. That's a candle competition, completely different. It just amazing competition and what all we've seen in some of the winners and some of the prizes, some of the fun stuff like that. So, Justin, from Canada Whips, obviously you've got tons of videos and most of the community probably knows about you or have seen you. You took one of the prizes as well, and you're a whip maker. Kat, you're a whip maker as well, and you've been a regular member of the community as well as whip performer. And myself, I make whips and I compete a little bit here and there, but it's good to talk to you guys. Tell me, how excited are you about this virtual event happening again this year? First of all, just the fact that we had one.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like a really great way for the community to come together. And I think it also just encourages people to post things. And I always like seeing faces I've never seen before, posting videos. As much as I love watching like Todd and Danny and you guys too, it's more like when I see someone that I don't know, even if they're just doing like the most basic stuff, I get really hyped because it's like, oh yeah, there's another one,
Right.
So it's really great for that, I think.
Yeah. What about you, Kat? Are you excited to see all this?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I entered last year. I wasn't able to do it this year, but last year, compared to last year, I feel like there's a lot more people that were coming in, and it was nice that they had the beginners category, and just to see like all those new faces and stuff. It's like really exciting to see our community growing, and it's active, and it's really exciting. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, for those that weren't paying close attention, there were several different categories. There, like Kat said, there's a beginners category, there's a single whip, a double whip, and a performance category. And they had raffle winners as well. It's an additional category of sorts. And then Adam came up with another one called the Spirit Award, which was interesting. We can talk about that too. So let's see. Justin, you took third place in double whip. Congratulations.
I did.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't expect that at all, but it happened. So that was actually when Adam posted the results, I was like kind of glancing through, and I like looked at the first single hand division, and then read the honorable mentions, and then the two hand, same thing, got to the honorable mentions, and I was like, oh dang, my name's not in the honorable mentions. I guess my two-handed routine wasn't that good. And then I looked up and saw I was in third place. I was like, how did that happen? But I was pretty stoked on it. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, nice. Was there any particular part of it that stuck out, like trying to just get a transition between two tricks, or a particular part of the routine?
So the two-handed routine, like initially I wasn't even really planning to enter that section at all. I'm going to tell you a long story, I guess, but basically when I heard that Adam was going to do the whole competition again, I was like, I'm going to make a really awesome performance video. And at the time I'd been listening to this other podcast that I really like, which is about juggling as a contemporary art form, and then also watching a lot of juggling content. And so they have a bunch of really cool videos there. And I kind of got inspired to make my own under that theme. And that became the video I put out last year, which was called Trains. But that video ended up being like 6 minutes long, and Adam had the cutoff at 3 minutes, so I couldn't enter it. And so I just released another video for the performance section instead. And also because the competition got announced a fair bit later this year, it was cold here, it was windy, it was snowing. I was just like, I'm not going to be able to put any videos in. So I just kind of left it. But then there was one day I was out practicing, and I just thought, oh, what the heck, I'll try a one-handed thing, and then submitted that. And then the two-handed, I was like, oh, there's no way, because last year when I did the two-handed section, I tried for days and days and days to get a take I was happy with, because I was trying to do like all these different tricks.
Right. Catch
And
her
I
at the
think
garage door and stuff. Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Right.
Whereas this year it was just like there was one day there was no car in the garage, so I figured, all right, I'm just gonna go in there and see if I can get a take of something, and yeah, it just kind of worked out, I guess.
Yeah, it really did come together too. And if people haven't seen it, we can leave a link to your video in the comments here, or in the description, something like that. But was there? I mean, you said it kind of came together. Was there something that wasn't coming together initially, like a particular, like name some cracks that you were doing and how you were putting together a routine and tie it together?
For starters, I'll say I broke the light in my garage trying to get that take. I mean, the ceilings aren't that high, and normally I do throws and stuff. And I guess I was just doing the required cracks, and I swung up for a cattleman's crack and just like knocked the light straight off of the thing. And I was just like, oh. And I still have a video of that. I should post it somewhere. It's kind of funny. But as for the routine in the video, I kind of went, so I did the required cracks, and then I went into this like arrowhead weave thing that I made up last year. And then I went into cyclone, and then this new like 4-crack volley with a spinner on the head. And then a little bit of the skip over, because I always do the skip over. And then I think I did an each way elbow toss, and then staggered volleys, and then an elbow toss with a 360 spin. And the interesting thing is, like I said last year, I spent so much time trying to get a really good take for the competition. And because I was like trying to do really well, I was doing tricks that I thought would score well, but they weren't necessarily tricks that I liked doing or that felt comfortable to me. And then in the two-handed competition last year, I didn't place. I got an honorable mention, and that's it. Whereas this year, I kind of went in with like, I'm just going to participate because I want to be active in our community. And so I'm in my garage in a small space, and I'm like, I'm just going to do the tricks I know I can do and the tricks that are fun for me. And that ended up being what I needed to do. So yeah, that was kind of nice.
Yeah, it really did come together too. Kat, was there anything that you thought that stood out on his routine? Have you seen his routine as well?
I did, yes. Oh my gosh, they're always amazing. But I think it's interesting though that when you were talking about like when you want it too much, you kind of like get in your head and then it's like doesn't quite come together. And then when you have like those serendipity moments and like you just happen to catch something like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome, So
Right.
I dig those, yeah.
I particularly like the part, like you said, the overhead volley to the roll behind your neck. I think it was. You did a let go when you were doing something overhead, and you let go and caught it around the other side. It was...
I think maybe the each way elbow toss. I don't know. I have so many weird moves, man. It's hard for me to even. Like today, I did a commentary on the trains video, and at one point, I was like trying to describe one of the moves that I was doing, and halfway through, I was like, you know what? I don't even know what's going on, and I did the damn thing.
Right? I like a tutorial, please. Like, break it down for us, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
maybe.
Exactly. Wow. No, that's great. What about some of the other competitors too? Was there anything that stood out to you, Kat, that in particular?
Oh my goodness. I have a soft spot for like the fire whips and stuff. So when I saw what was his name? Cheetah,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. I really liked it. I liked yours too. I mean, Justin, not to.
Oh, thanks. No, Cheetah's was cooler than mine for sure.
Right there, but I mean, like, whoa, that was like really cool performance and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
right.
There's really a lot of like creative videos out there, and like Karina Potter and stuff. That was really cute. So, and then the honorable mention, the banana one.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
Wasn't it? I was like, oh my gosh, a lot of like indie fans here like, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I so much for him. So
exactly. Hannah Golden. Right? Yeah, that was the Spirit Award for Hannah Golden for her short film in the performance category. Indie Hannah Jones and the Golden Banana.
Yeah. That was genius. The way it was filmed, the way it was edited, I was like, this is top notch. Yeah.
Like, I hope Indy 5 is this good. So
exactly, it better be.
You talk to her, get some filming tips, right?
Exactly, right? We'll move this along, right? Like no more delays on the filming, right?
He can be the new Harrison. We'll just go with it. That'd be great. Of course, Danny and Todd both. Danny Shaw, Todd Rex, both doing Danny
Doing
Danny
them.
Shaw and Todd Rex things. Just the best that they do. Both took, let's see, Todd took second place in single whip
Both.
and double whip. Yeah.
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 Oh my goodness. And just the power and speed of everything he does. Not to mention he rolls around and does crazy acrobatics, it seems like.
Right.
Not to mention he's 50 years old.
I don't believe it.
What is like
really?
this guy's doctor probably looks at him and is like, Todd, you need to stop. And Todd's just like, I'm gonna go backflip now, you know? He's a superhero, that guy. He's amazing.
He really is. Actually,
Oh
Todd, when you watch this later, Justin and I were talking the other day. We're pretty sure you're from another planet and we're performing on a planet with lower gravity. I think that's how you do it.
He's a monster.
Yes, we're very impressed, to say the least.
Defies
And
gravity.
then, of course, Danny's. He took first place in double whip and then third place in single whip. Was it his performance? Which one was his that he did? I think it was his performance that did 3 minutes of whip cracking.
Yeah,
I was exhausted at the end of it. It was really,
oh yeah.
He did all these amazing tricks, and then at the end, he did like 30 seconds of solid volley, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, he's built different, that guy.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, that's good. Those are our people. That's awesome.
Those are our people.
Right?
Of course, single whip.
Very
I have
proud.
to mention Ian Cameron and his first place performance.
Awesome.
I mean, Ian just blew it away. It's amazing. And I think his was the one that Adam said was by far the best, or was it Danny's with the?
I think he said it was Danny's the four
Danny's
corners.
was the best four corners.
Yeah, like he's a
two-handed four corners routine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ian's video is like the best, and I hope no one gets mad at me for saying this, but I think it's the best single whip video we've seen in the competition like ever.
Really
like
good.
it was just
Mighty.
absolutely
Solid.
monstrous. And
the landing
I
at
mean,
the end.
the landing, but like the throws and
Everything super sharp.
you know someone's good when they can do hard trick into hard trick into hard trick, right? Like for me, if I say I want to do an elbow toss, I'll do whatever stuff I'm doing, then I'll bang out a fast figure eight real quick, and then I'll do my elbow toss. Then I'll catch it, do whatever else I want to do. Oh, I want to do another throw. Okay, and I'm going to do a setup and then the throw. Ian's just like, you know what? Singleton special into copter toss into behind the back catch. Like I'm not waiting around for any setups or fast figure eights. I am just better than you. Like let me lay it on the table. You know, it was wonderful. And not to mention, like this guy, he punches every crack. He's like hammering the four corners. You know, with so much force. Sharp. And a video like that, you got to figure he took dozens of takes. So I don't know how his shoulders are still in place after doing that a million times.
We'll have to get him on one of these calls and talk to him.
Right?
Oh yeah, he's a super nice guy too. But that was crazy. After seeing that video, I was like, man, you gotta like stop whip cracking so I can have a chance next year, because otherwise it's not happening.
I know.
Yeah, my goodness.
Yeah. He's always out there cracking though. You always see him like practicing, like every morning before work. He's got his coffee and stuff. It's like, that's just what he does. So.
That's
I'm
his daily
inspired.
morning walk.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he works manual labor too, I'm pretty sure. At least he used to. So you figure he's working 8 hours a day, busting his hump, and then comes home is like, you know what I'm gonna do? Break the sound barrier a million times. Like, yeah, exactly. Crazy guy. Love him.
Yeah, and another superhero right there, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to talk about the performance videos. That always just stunning to see. In addition to our Indiana Jones that we had.
Yeah.
Garrett Lloyd especially got first place here, and his drone shots and just life on the farm using a whip, and you just want to sit back and hear. What's his name? Edinburgh, like just narrate over it or something. It was David Edinburgh. Yeah. It's just you need James Earl Jones just to start talking or something. It's one of those videos that was just a documentary. It was beautiful, and my hat's off to him. Absolutely. And if you guys want to talk about Margot Lila.
I don't know. I'm not. Lila or Lila. From wonderful anyway.
Right. Probably
I
best
live
costume.
for that stuff.
Amazing costume, amazing performance.
Yeah.
And she said that she put tons of work into that. She posted several times and responded to a
Mhm.
bunch of comments on the Facebook group.
Mhm.
Was there anything about that? I particularly like the use of a hula hoop as well as whipping at the
Yep.
same time.
Yeah, it was a nice performance. It worked in like really smoothly and stuff, and the costume was adorable. I loved it. So
Mhm.
Right.
the showmanship
And the
of it.
tricks too. The tricks
Yeah.
were super innovative. Like she, I think, has the benefit of being a flow artist first, so she has lots of experience with different props, and you could totally see her incorporating like rope dart and poi and contact staff
Right.
into the moves, and really like that's what gets me excited too. So she did a couple things there that I had to pause the video and go back and be like, okay, I'm doing that now too.
Right.
That's awesome. So you get
Yeah.
inspired. See, it's awesome.
It
right?
is very
Absolutely.
inspiring.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago when Adam was talking about the LAWhipCon in general, that's what the reason he does this is that he wants to make whip cracking more normal.
Mhm.
He wants to have it just a bigger thing. He wants to get people excited about it and an excuse to do it, normalize it. And I think this is a sign of that. We're bringing in people from all sorts of
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
different areas.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see, who else do we have to hear? Ryder Kisner and Bethany Isles took
Cute
third
video.
place. Very cute video. Their performance video from one of their performances, I assume.
Mhm.
I really like that. Always like a horse video. Let's see here. Was there anything about any of those or any of the honorable mentions here as well? We're leaving so many good ones out that
There was a
just stood
lot,
out to you
though.
guys.
So much
Mhm.
creativity.
Well, the performance category in general, I think, at least it's my favorite, just because we see so much new and fun and different content there. I really love whip cracking, and obviously anyone that knows me knows that I'm into the online community more than most people, but like the content is always kind of the same format, right? It's just people in their backyards or wherever filming whatever trick they're working on, and that's awesome, and I love seeing it. But when I see something different, like Garrett's video or Cheetah's video, it's like, oh
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah,
because
right?
a big thing about being creative is being intentional, and these people are being intentional with not only what they're doing but how they're shooting it, how they're presenting it, and so the performance category just like churns out tons of content that gets people thinking, and that's what's awesome about it.
Yeah.
agree.
It definitely lets us know that there's more that we can work on in addition to our whip cracking.
Yeah.
I mean,
For sure.
all the lighting and cinema skills and angles
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Video
there
editing,
anything-
it's like awesome.
right.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're taking away from some of these performance videos that you want to incorporate in something you're going to do? Because you always have some cool videos too. Yeah, you on the
Yeah.
beach. Come on, I don't have any beach videos.
Yeah, or your
That's
husband
what
like
I was
filming
thinking.
around
He
you. That
does,
was a cool
Right?
one
Yeah,
too.
you have a
Oh my God.
dedicated cameraman.
Yeah.
I need him more often. He's working right now, but it's like, yeah, it's like he comes up with these. He's the one. He's the creative one. So he comes
Oh,
up with
cool.
like all these different angles. He's like the background. This is a perfect scene. We got to do it here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's super helpful. We want to buy a drone just for that too.
Nice.
You should.
Right? And then
Absolutely.
just like video editing itself. My son was inspired when he watched the one of the videos, and he's like, I think I can do that, and he just started to like put it together.
Cool.
So it's like
Ooh,
inspiring the
cool.
next generation. But
Right.
yeah, like definitely
Wow.
all that stuff is, you kind of like you get creative and you start learning and you pick up these new skills. And
Right.
but yeah, I definitely want to. There's a couple of videos that I wanted to do, but I just haven't had time to like execute them yet. So we'll see maybe for next year. But
Okay.
definitely taking like ideas from like what I've seen, and just got to figure out how to do it though.
So you'll get your Wonder Woman costume and you'll
Yeah, right,
do
exactly.
Wonder
Costume-
Cat and the Golden
yeah,
Banana
right?
next year or something.
Something like that, right? I'm sure there's a Catwoman costume involved, maybe. I don't know.
I-
I'm here in Vegas too. It's like there's a lot of like different backgrounds and
Yeah.
like things I wanted to do, but we'll
I mean, how many people have a pyramid in their backyard, right? I mean,
see. I got a cool backyard, right?
I'm
Yeah,
just
you
saying.
got
Yeah.
the Eiffel Tower. I got
it's all there. Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
Yeah, it really is.
I love it. And of course, there was all these wonderful awards. We have some beautiful prizes that were donated by lots of different people that I definitely want to mention, especially. Justin, you sent out some Canada Whip swag. You got to mention that, which is great. I've got, actually, I should have brought it in here. I've got my mug and stuff I've been using.
Yeah.
Oh,
and my
cool.
keychain.
Yeah, your keychain.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
on
feel
my
like I'm in the
bag.
cool kids club, right?
Right.
That's right. You are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. And let's see. There was a bag and there was a bolo tie from Blake Gorey. A whip bag actually was donated. That was really unique, I guess. It was a great idea. I'm a little jealous. I want one now.
See?
I have to make one.
You could totally make one, Christian.
Yeah, I could. Make some extra pockets and stuff on it.
Right? Yeah.
But did you see the bolo tie that Blake Gorey made?
It was stunning. Yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah, right?
Like that's probably hundreds of dollars. I mean, it's amazing.
His work's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, his work is amazing in general, and that bolo tie is just stunning. Let's see. I'm just looking here. We've got stock whips and bull whips and all these just wonderful things. Everybody won some amazing stuff, as well as Adam mentioned in his video that we've got what was it? Gift cards or discounts from different places and stuff.
Yeah.
So if anyone watching this later didn't enter next year, get in on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Kat, get in on it next year.
I know.
I'm gonna give you a hard time.
I will commit. I know, right?
No, I'm just giving you a hard time. It's fine.
Right?
We all have a life. It's if you have to.
I know, but that was my life too, you know.
Right. Also true.
Right?
And we just all want to share it with each other. And that's one of the things that I love about this community and doing things like even this interview is just how we can bring this community together. And we can, whip cracking is by its nature kind of a solitary sport most of the time. I mean, you certainly can't be very close to anybody else. So maybe good for social distancing, but the being able to have a community as well as being able to bring the community together is really important. And I think this competition and things like these videos and these interviews are a good way to do it. Speaking of that, unintended segue, I think from the Whip Cracking 101 Facebook group, that was your number one feedback, as I recall you said. People wanting more get-togethers. They're wanting this community. They're wanting more people doing this together. And you just started another year? What do we call the 101 group?
I guess year. I'm not sure.
But tell me, I mean, we are doing another one. There's going to be more assignments coming out.
It's in the works. I don't know how much I'm allowed to reveal, but basically we're taking the feedback that we got from the end of year survey that we did and implementing it to try and make the group bigger and better, which is good. Lots of challengers lined up for this year, both some that you've seen and some that you haven't seen. And every month is going to be a little bit different than last year. So I don't want to say too much, but you're going to learn like a wide variety of different skills, which is really cool. Because like last year, the reason that I wanted to get a different challenger for every month was because I wanted people to learn to whip crack like me and like Kit and like Adam, and to kind of feel like how they feel when they whip crack. And I thought that was really cool. I know for myself personally, there was some months like Todd's that it was not to toot my own horn, but Todd's was really easy for me because his style and mine are very similar. Whereas Leah's that month kicked my butt because like while the tricks maybe weren't as hard as some of the ones in Adam's, let's say, she would do a move and then do another move that like I wouldn't normally do that move after that first move. And that was like the challenge, right? So that was really cool. But this year we're trying to focus more on, I guess, different styles of whip cracking rather than different people. So watch out for stuff like that.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
Right. I've really enjoyed these. I wasn't able to do level 3 in all the months, and I don't know if I got level 1 on every month even, but we're all at our own level.
Exactly,
And
right?
Yeah,
I've
I
learned a
so
lot.
much from the group. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Good.
See? Yeah,
Exactly.
it was awesome. Yeah.
I did see some people asking about more as a 101 group. Is there going to be more super beginner stuff? Like, I don't know if you want to call it a level 0 every other month or something. Any thoughts on that?
So we did take that into consideration too. We've kind of changed the format in terms of like raffle entries and so on to make it a little bit more accessible for beginners. And as well, we're trying to make every level 1 really, really basic this year. So another difference between this year and last year is that last year you had a level 1 and that was kind of like a basic routine. Level 2 added some tricks, made it a little bit harder, and then level 3 like made it longer and added more complexity still. This year, I've told the challengers, think about how you would teach your month to someone that's just learned whip cracking a few days ago, a few months ago, and a few years ago. And that's how you shape your level 1, 2, and 3. And so what that means is level 1, 2, and 3 might not all be one routine. They might be completely different from each other, or they might all be one long routine. It's kind of up to the interpretation of the challenger. But we were trying to aim the levels at different types of people, just so that everyone can benefit from being in the group.
That's really exciting. Kat, you did almost, did you do, I think you did all the months, right?
I try to do all of them. I think, there was a month or two that made me want to cry. Like, oh my gosh, level 1? Are you kidding me? Yeah, no, it was a lot of them. And then the people that could do like level 4 and stuff. Wow, that's awesome. But yeah, I did try to participate, and I did challenge myself to try and do like level 3 as much as possible. Yeah. But I learned so much from that. Like looking back at like this time last year when I did the first virtual challenge, the first competition, and compared to like the things that I can do now, it's like I really do attribute it to like everything I learned from 101. So it was a really awesome group. Yeah. Seriously, so.
Right. Is there things, it's like specific tricks that you're going to be bringing out of that, or is it the ability to string together things? What about that 101 group?
Yeah, stringing them together, that was super helpful because, you would learn these individual cracks and it's like, well, now what do I do with them? And, being able to like put it together in a routine and just, I find myself practicing certain ones, like my favorites, like the rolls and like the elbow tosses and just, just flowing on your own and finding your own way after all of that. Yeah, it's really nice.
Right. And I mean, some of the videos you've posted, I think really shows that off. You've been able to have a smooth flow from trick to trick, and some of them have been pretty complicated, and it's very impressive. So keep up the good work.
Oh, for sure.
I'd like to say, so a little bit on the origin story of Whip 101, Christian.
Yeah.
It was actually this time last year, you were doing the interviews for the virtual LAWhipCon.
Right.
And in your interview with Adam, a beginner, I feel bad, I forget her name. I'm a horrible guy. Oh, well. One of the beginners had mentioned that she has trouble stringing tricks together in the chat on that video. And Isaac and I both saw that and both like separately decided we wanted to do something about it, and then ended up coming together and making Whip 101. So really it's because of you doing this that Whip 101 is even a thing.
Yay! I made a difference. That's very exciting and very flattering for sure. It's exciting.
And now, I mean, both of you guys you're volunteers for the group as well. So yeah, you're both like helping to make things awesome. So
I've denied a bunch of people, so.
Yeah, good.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
I started messaging people. If you're watching this and you want to be part of the 101 group, answer the questions. You have to answer the questions.
That's right. Yeah. There's like one question. It's not hard. Just click on it.
It's not bad. No, I actually messaged like 6 people yesterday. Just go back, do it again. Just answer the questions. Say you'll listen to the rules. It's easy, and it's a great group. So if I rejected you, I'm sorry. Go back and join them. It's a lot of fun. And thank you, Justin. It's really, really exciting to every month. I'm excited to see what the new routine is. And not just the tricks either. I think it was Leah when she was talking about your performance, like how you
Mhm.
stand and how you present how you finish. And while I don't want to do a pony leg myself, it's not really my style, but she makes a really good point about having a definitive superhero ending or something. You
Mhm.
know, you
Yep.
do your thing. Todd has his thing that he does that's very distinctly Todd. And a lot of people do a rap or something that's a very distinct bow at the end of your performance. And I think that she really put, I learned a lot from her, is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
And
Me too.
those are the sort of things, I
Yeah.
guess, that I'm especially looking forward to, not just continuing to get better at doing the four corners or being able to do volley longer or something, or learn the Maltese Falcon or something fun. But I want to also learn the other parts of it that makes it be a good performance. So when grandma says, do some whip cracking for me, Christian, I can actually I can 1, 2 there. What? I don't know. But if I can think it together or even just do one of the month's
Mhm.
performances that I've got memorized, now
Yeah.
I've got that in my
See?
repertoire.
Yeah.
So, which I think is what you did, Kat, on the beach when your husband
Yeah,
filmed
that
you
was
doing
it.
that cool beach scene.
I don't know what month it was, but yeah, it was like it just because now it's like muscle memory, you know.
I think it was Todd's because you did a
May have been
catch,
Todd. Yeah.
or at least after his month, because you did a catch over the sand in the water with a whip.
Right.
Like, you know, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Oh my goodness. Well, what is it that you're doing that you would like to tell the people about? We are coming up on a half an hour here. Definitely want to be respectful of you guys' time. Like Justin, you've got CanadaWhips.com. And so tell me a little bit about what we could find over there and why someone might want to go see your site.
Yeah, so Canada Whips, it's .ca now. I've made that
.ca,
change.
sorry.
You can still go to .com too, though it'll take you to the same place. But basically, Canada Whips is the resource that I wanted when I started whip cracking, and I couldn't find it. That's kind of been my mantra, creating the website and the tutorials. I just want it to be like everything a beginner or someone wanting to get into whip cracking wants to know. It's all on the site. So we've got tutorials for tricks. We've got a guide for how to choose your first whip. We've got info on types of whips and whip length. We've got links to other websites. We've got pictures and you know, the list goes on and on and on. And every day I think of something else like, oh, I could put that on the site, and I just throw it on there because really I want everyone to be able to just go on and learn if they want to.
Yeah.
And then on the YouTube, awesome, that's good.
Yeah.
I should say too, like when I started the website, the goal was like initially to help grow the community in Canada, but I realized like I want the community to grow everywhere. So don't be afraid if it says Canada Whips, because Canada Whips means the same thing as Argentina Whips and Antarctica Whips. Like just go on wherever you are.
Right.
And then on the YouTube, I've got tutorials for different tricks. I've got tutorials on, you know, whip maintenance. All of the Whip 101 videos from last year are up there. Yeah, it's just basically a ton of resources for people. And yeah, it's kind of like my little passion project, trying to help the community out.
Absolutely. And you make whips too.
I do, yes. I make performance hybrid whips in 5 feet. And the reason I'm so specific about that is because I want to like really dial in the design until I have something that I'm really happy with. And I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what a 5 foot hybrid should feel like. And once I have that locked down, then I'll learn something else. But right now I'm only doing hybrids because I'm like really close to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. This is what it should feel like. And then I can start the process again on something else.
Awesome. I'd love to see some if you have some to show or any other ones you want to show off as well. And Kat, you're also a whip maker. You've made some beautiful whips. Just recently you made a Black Widow whip that I am very stunned by. Is it handy or something similar?
Oh, let me see.
Is there, just so happens.
I just happen to have it with me. I took it out today to test it out, and I'm going to be sending it off to Keith to do some more, because I meant for it to be like a target whip, and he's a better targeter than I am.
than
very good.
many of us. He's a
Right?
monster.
So we start off, we got the Black Widow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Right?
Let's do
So,
this. Hang on.
and my
Oh,
face.
that's beautiful.
There we go. Oh, look at that. That's a lot of
See?
fun.
And then I've got my little, like, I started doing this thing where I would weave
Oh yeah.
the fall into it and stuff. I call it my
Oh,
cat
that's cool.
fall, right? Just making
Man.
stuff up. I also have my other one that I made before last year. Was through my Cheshire cat.
Yes, I love the
Yeah.
fade from the handle to the thong.
Right? Yeah, this one turned out
That's
really cool. So I was really happy with that one. So I hear what you were saying, Justin, about how you want to like focus in and dial in that
Mhm.
thing to make it like the perfect model and stuff. So lately I've been doing these faded like bull whips and stuff and trying to get just the right, fade and the way it
Man.
feels and stuff. So
I feel like it was like yesterday, Kat, you sent me a message and you're like, Justin, the 5x4 Turk's head knot is the worst thing in the entire world. Whip making is for chumps. This is so hard. And then like I blinked and all of a sudden you're like the new David Morgan over there,
I'm honored. Oh my gosh, yeah. I heel knots, like, yeah, oh my gosh, this made me want to cry for a while. But yeah, after you actually, was it Christian, you made that tutorial and then Justin had
the
sent it to me.
checkerboard knot. Yeah.
And there we go. And so see, once
Mhm.
again, here we are, right? The
Right.
community.
Full
it's
circle.
so,
I like it.
right? Exactly.
Just everybody helping everybody in the community. I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
all
great.
right.
What about you, Justin? You have any show and tell for us? I want to see. Do you have one of yours you've made recently? Or something?
I don't have any of mine I've made recently. The reason being, like when I make a whip for someone else, I'll put a lot of effort into making it look really pretty and doing the fancy plaiting, all that stuff. When I make a whip for me, I know it's ending up like in the dirt, in the mud. I'm just horrible to them. So it's never like that good looking. I do have 2 sets of whips here I'd love to show you though.
Oh yes.
The first is a set of Whiplash stock whips that I had made by
yeah.
Simon Martin.
Look at those.
With the you can't see because my light's too
wanna
bright,
see.
but I've
The
got the
glare.
Canada Whips logo like
Oh yeah, there we go.
engraved.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's
And
so
then Canada
cool.
Whips on the back there. So these are awesome. Story behind these was I went to the WhipCon in 2020 or whenever the last one was and hung out with Todd. He had a set of, I think, 6-foot Whiplash bull whips. I used them, thought, man, that's awesome. Ordered a set. And then halfway through the waiting period, I was like, you know what? I have a set of 5.5-foot Whiplash stock whips that are the best things I own. I'm going to get another set of those instead because I knew if something happened to my first ones, I would be devastated. So that's how these came to be. And then they've got like red kangaroo hide interlaced in the accent knots. So
Amazing.
these are
Wow.
wonderful. I sleep with these under my pillow. And then this is a set that I'm really, really stoked on. These were made by Desmond Martin of Alberta, Canada. Desmond does really, really cool rainbow work, but also just like he's super creative and kind of, I don't know, sneaky. Like if you look at these, so these have got like 6-inch handles, but if you look, he's done like half of the whip is in color and half's in black. And then you get to this transition and then all of a sudden all the black disappears and more color comes out. And now we're in full rainbow. And it's just like, how did,
Yeah.
he's a
Kinda
wizard.
like yours,
Trip,
Kat,
right?
in a way, to where he faded the handle.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love it.
And then it's hard to see on camera what they move. They kind of look like, whoa, because they're
looks
so
like,
pretty.
yeah.
Yeah. So these I always have with me, and they're small enough that I can like take them anywhere and just goof around with them. So those are my 2 show and tell sets.
Awesome. I love it. And I've got my Joe Strain 2-tone here. This is my pride and joy. I've got a lot of my whips in storage at the moment, but it's just a 16 plat.
Is that the one from Blake?
Yes, I got it from Blake.
Yeah.
Bought it from him, but it's made by Joe Strain.
Beautiful.
And yeah, it's just a beautiful whip with such a excellent taper and just cracks effortlessly. Yeah, it's just kind of inspiration as I'm making whips. Like this is
right
what it should look like.
That's the goal. Yeah,
that's the goal right there. Just how it's as smooth as glass on the plaiting. It's amazing.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's very exciting. Is there any whip makers that you're especially watching that you want to see more from? I know we're starting another topic here, but
I follow all of the whip hashtags on every social media that I have. So really, it's funny because some people I see all the time, and like I know Tori's whips just by the wood that he puts them on and the way he positions his
Right.
whips. And I'm always stoked to see his stuff. But like, I just see so much whip content all the time, and I'm always just hyped on it. So really, everybody and anybody.
I love it. Yeah, I've seen several new kangaroo makers using Johnny Ogren's book that he came out with.
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
I've seen some beautiful work coming out of that, and I'm looking forward to seeing more people picking up on that. Yeah, you were talking about possibly moving to leather as well and making some other stuff
I
there.
started learning some stuff from Blake Bruning and Tony Nugent. And so I haven't quite transitioned, but I'm wrapping my head around, getting into it and stuff. But you sent me over that the fall to try and learn how to like carve that and stuff. So it's a whole different thing than paracord, but I really like it. So it's like you don't want to make a mistake because it's expensive. It's kangaroo leather, and I have one hide that I haven't cut up yet, and it's still sitting there, but I'll get there.
Right. Yeah, I've been working on various leather projects since.
Yours is amazing. Have you seen his stuff? Like
I have. Oh yeah.
Do you have anything? The wallets? Yes, I love it. He's gonna design a whip bag for us.
Right? Yeah.
I mean,
yes,
definitely.
Small things like this with just small wallets and things. I've got some tooled stuff over on the other side.
I love the flower designs that you did. Like those are beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And this one of these days I focus on a small piece, and then I think, could I stitch this onto a handle, or could I make a bunch of strips that are tooled and then braid them together or something? I don't know. I'm coming up with some ideas.
I love it.
We'll see where it goes. The kind of whip making is, most people say at least, it's the pinnacle of leatherworking. That you can go to Tandy and buy a wallet kit and just stitch it together, and you've got a wallet, and it's fine. And your 7-year-old can make it, and it's pretty easy. You can get some stamps and hammer it and make it have some designs on it, but the precision that it takes of not just selecting a hide and cutting it up and braiding it and just everything it takes to make a high quality leather whip just is the highest echelon of all the skills. And it's I'm impressed by people like Joe Strain that can make something like this, and just all those pieces come together just every time, or at least all of themselves come together. But Justin, I mean, not to put you on the spot, have you thought about moving into leather or doing anything with that? Or are you just focusing on the paracord and going to get that one down, the 5 foot?
Well, I'm really close on the 5 foot hybrid. Talk to me in another year.
Okay.
No, I have
curious.
Johnny's book. My friend from Montreal, Franco, he's also going to be publishing a book soon. I'm going to buy that one.
I actually English version. I thought it was.
No, it's English. It's in English. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually got to look at the first edition of it when I was in Montreal, which was super cool. It was really cool. And Franco's a wonderful wealth of knowledge. I don't really have a lot of experience with leather whips. Like I say, I'm hard on mine. The leather whips that I have are either on display or they're special occasion type things. So I'd love to get more experience under my belt just using them before I start delving into making them, because I think the small issue that our community runs into sometimes is Nick Schrader put out a whole bunch of really, really great tutorials, and obviously the community is so thankful for that, and he's the reason that we've grown so quickly, in my opinion. But at the same time, we have a culture where a lot of people are making whips, but they don't know necessarily what a good whip even feels like because they've never had one before.
Right.
And so there's kind of this double-edged sword, right? And I'd like to kind of avoid that pitfall and just feel some my friend Daniel Corbeil has a set of stock whips by Russell Schultz that I just thought were the the bee's knees. And so I'd love to get more stuff like that in my hands. And then once I have a good idea of what I want my whips to feel like, I can start to work on that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There is something to be said about nylon being its own thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's certainly so. Just as an example, okay, going back to this Joe strain. I mean, in many ways, this is the pinnacle of whip making, in for some people's estimation, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually quite heavy, and I mean, it's a bullwhip. So doing some of the routines that you teach on your site, or that Adam Winrich shows on some of his videos, the four corners, for instance, it's probably not the best whip for that. It's fairly stiff. It's quite heavy. The taper is amazing. The energy conservation. If you get it to unroll at all, it'll crack. Just rolls out on its own at night and just goes out and cracks in the yard by itself, I think. So that's amazing. But I have a performance hybrid that I made, 5 foot actually. And it weighs a quarter of this. I haven't weighed it. I should, maybe less. And I can use that for significantly longer and do a lot of fun stuff that I really can't do very well with this. Yeah. So when you're talking about not wanting to have, or making sure you have a good feeling of all these other ones, and Kat, you're a whip maker too. I don't know how your feelings are. You recently bought a leather whip also.
Yeah.
Do you? For me, at least, I like playing with the different whips to see what they should feel like in a way. But also, I think learning nylon is something new. It's new to the world, and it's okay if it's not like the leather, to a degree. Do you agree? What do you think about that, Kat?
I think leather's definitely heavier than the nylon and stuff. And what I love about nylon is the versatility, and it's not as costly if you're gonna go and just like mess around and try different things. Like that's what I started with. And for a while I had a hard time trying to figure out like if I was making the whip right, or if I was just like a weak whip cracker, right? So it was really helpful too within our community. I would like ask people questions, like certain whip makers, and I would like pick their brains. Like being a couple years into it now, I feel like I wanted to create something that I would like to use as a whip cracker. So yeah, but it's there. I do feel like they're definitely lighter and more versatile. Like you don't have to worry about taking your leather whip out and like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get it wet or get it dirty, whatever, you know. You don't have to baby it as much, and you know the nylon, it'll stand up. It's waterproof and fire resistant. I don't know.
No, nylon definitely not.
To a certain, it'll melt a little bit.
Kevlar,
okay.
you would
right, the Kevlar, yeah. I don't know. There's so many.
What do you think, Justin? Is that, you think that's an accurate statement that nylon is kind of a new thing to the world? Whips are different, or should we still be focusing on the gold standard of leather?
I think that it depends on what your goals are. Like when I went to Australia, in the Australian competition, you need to use kangaroo leather stock whips. You're not allowed to use any other material. And for that culture, there's a real benefit there because the tricks that they're trying to do are based on that whip, right? The four corners is easier with most, like with a high quality kangaroo leather stock whip, in my opinion, just because there's typically a little bit more weight out into the thong. And so it's easier to get those frontal flicks. For me, like, you know, my style is very dependent on throws and letting go of the whip, and that lends itself to dropping. And so I probably wouldn't use the leather stock whip or leather whip for my tricks because I'm not a millionaire and I can't just keep buying new ones, right? And I think really, like, you can think about the specifics, like with kangaroo leather, for example, you can start at 16 plait or whatever plait you want, and you can finish at whatever plait you want, and you can have these strands that taper, whereas with nylon, you're always going to have drops. And so, like, theoretically, you have a lot more control of the taper with kangaroo leather, provided that, you know, you have the skill to do that. However, at the same time, you're dealing with the randomness of the quality of the hide and so on.
Exactly.
And nylon obviously has like differences, but just slight differences. all this to say that like really the best whip is dependent on what you're trying to do. And I'm sure that Joe strain that you have is really great for overhand flicks. Whereas the hybrids that I'm making, they're probably not that great for overhand flicks because I'm trying to balance them more so you can spin them on your head and hook them under your elbow and all that kind of goofy stuff that I like, right?
Right. But this would not be good for that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that, not to keep drawing parallels to juggling here, but like, so juggling has been around for like 4,000 years, right? There's hieroglyphics of women juggling in the pyramids. And right now, like the three conventional shapes are the balls, the clubs, and the rings, the circular rings, right? And only in the last 20 years, over 4,000 years of juggling, did someone think, hey, you know what? We could juggle triangles too. And now there's like new triangle tricks, you know what I mean? And so I wonder, like, what's next for whip cracking, you know, and what other tricks are possible if we weight our whips differently, and if we make them out of, like, there was a guy that made some out of licorice on one of the Facebook pages, you know.
Okay.
And like, while that's like, yeah, wild and silly, it's also like, man, but what tricks could I do with a licorice whip that I probably can't do with my Peter Thorndike stock whips, you know?
Right.
That kind of stuff, like, really keeps me up at night. It makes me excited.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's exciting. And I actually, if anyone's interested in that, I saw a TED Talk about juggling. Actually, I think it was TED Talk, but it was similar to a TED Talk. A guy was talking about and triangles being a new thing. It was really great. I'll see if I can find that and put that in the link as well.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know the TED Talk you're talking about, actually. That's Jay Gilligan. At the end, he like balances the X from TEDx on his face.
Yes,
yeah, that's a great video. Yeah,
you have to find the video. We'll find
Very
that
cool.
out.
I have to check it out.
But yeah, it's really fun, and I think there are a lot of things that overlap with the two different hobbies or
and any hobby, right? Like you think about jump rope. There's like world jump rope competitions, and if you hold the cracker of your whip in one hand and the handle in the other, you got a jump rope right there, bing bang boom, you know. Right. So like there's those tricks. I don't know, it's just like, or Leela this year with the hoop. It's just hoop, like, man, like there's so much more. Mm-hmm.
So many people out
there. to bring it back to Whip 101 a little, like, another reason I thought it was so cool to have so many different perspectives and so many different months is like when you start thinking in different boxes, you start to kind of create your own, you know, and all of a sudden, like, now new things are happening. Mm-hmm. And I understand why, like, so last year when you entered the group, you had to answer a question, which was, what are you most looking to learn? And I would say 50% of the time, people would say the four corners. And the reason they want to learn that is because it's known to be the hardest trick, right? It's like the pinnacle of whip cracking. And I get that. It's a really cool trick. It is super hard, but I don't know. Not everyone is a four corners whip cracker. You know, I'm not. I'm a throw it behind my neck kind of whip cracker.
Right.
You know, and so I think we need to be more comfortable in being like, you know what, like, I'll learn the four corners someday, but it's not like you learn the four corners. Okay, I'm done whip cracking now. I beat the final boss. You know, let's go on eBay and sell these off. You know, that's not how it works. Yeah.
Right. It's going to be a thing now. You know, the final boss of.
Yeah.
What is the final boss?
Yeah.
No, I like it, and that's a really good point. And hopefully, as we and other people watching this start to see through the LAWhipCon competition entrance, there's lots of different styles, lots of different tricks. Mm-hmm. Not everyone did the four corners, and they all do an amazing job. They really
absolutely
do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I just want to wrap up by thanking you guys for coming on the show, and thank you. Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's an honor.
And it's my honor to have you all here, and just to have your time and your perspective on this, and to continue to learn from both of you. And I one day I hope I can make fade handles as good as you get. And I hope that I can do at least 1/100th of the tricks that you can do, Justin. But it's just all of it. There's so much to learn, and I really appreciate that. CanadaWhips.ca if they want to find more about you, Justin.
Yes.
Kat, if somebody wants a fader handle or a Black Widow whip of their own from you, is there a way they could contact you?
Well, I did open an Etsy. It's under Sin City Kitty Designs.
Sin City Kitty Designs on Etsy. Go and check it out.
So we'll see.
Nice.
All right. Thank you all. I appreciate it. And once again, keep cranking.
See ya.